welcome to my channel. Well, this one's going to be kind of like, I'm going to be talking about gas station knives, but it's more of a how my knife collecting basically had evolved from before. All right, so what I mean by gas station knives is kind of like, an M-Tech. This one's an assisted opening, serrated, 440 stainless, USA design. What does it say? Handcrafted. I have to get it where I can see it. Handcrafted in China. USA design, handcrafted in China. MT-A705 is this model number. Kind of gaudy, cheap, inexpensive. This is what I used at work in my last job. I liked it so much I bought two of them. I think I paid like $5 or $10 for this one. You could see some where they have a bottle opener back here. There's like a lanyard loop and everything. I got a lot of compliments on this knife when I was at work. When I heard it open up, they go, "Ooh, that's nice. Is that gold?" And I go, "Yeah, that's real gold color." But I had also, this one, simulated Damascus. But yeah, guess what I did? I tried to use it as a screwdriver. 1045 surgical steel blade. Made by Tiger USA, but handcrafted in China. This one's is this one assisted open? Yeah, it's got that little spring to it and everything. And then of course you got the seatbelt cutter ones. I think I got this one from, I might have got this from Frost when I ordered something. Another kind of assisted opening thumb stud with, there's no flipper to it. You would think there would be, but there isn't. And this was kind of tricky. Thumb studs for me, when I go to open them, a lot of times, I have a tendency to almost cut myself on there. Don't tread on me. Nemo me impune lacicete. Look, I'm gonna cut you. Yeah, seatbelt cutter, glass breaker, belt clip. Oh yeah, we gotta read what it says here. Stainless steel, handcrafted in China. Alright, so before YouTube, I would still get halfway decent knives, I had that Atlanta Cutlery catalog I would order stuff from. But again, back in the day, in order to get a knife and stuff, it would have to be in a magazine or a catalog where you see it. And you don't get a whole lot from, a catalog. I mean, Atlanta Cutlery was good because they would add a little bit more to the description. Let me see if I can find one of those. These little catalogs. It would give you a little description of them. It would tell you a little bit more about it. And that would influence my buying. What year was this one? 1993, summer. But American military knives. Yeah, the prices in these. You look at it and you go, wow, man. $18.95 for an Air Force survival knife. But yeah, unless you got something like this, which I would do, you know, but it only come out like once a month, maybe twice. What does it say? Summer. So you didn't even come out. And look at that. You had to pay for this one. Now the thing was, a lot of times if you bought from them, they would send it to you anyway. You wouldn't have to pay. But still, that's how you would figure out knives. You know, either that or go into a gas station, and you didn't have really good options in a gas station a lot of times. Here's just some examples of what I would consider like gas station knives. Now this one used to have a little flashlight in here too, that would stick in there, and a little magnetic base, and I lost it. And it's got a little ferro rod in here, seatbelt cutter, glass breaker. Man, it's got a little bit of everything. Bottle opener, serrated, and a normal blade. I used this one at Ratco a little bit. It came in fairly handy. It's non-assisted opening and everything, but I like that because if with the assisted opening, unless you completely flick it, it'll get about here, and then your thumb will stop because it's not always following the blade, and wow, or the thumb said, and bam. I've never sliced the end of my thumb off before, but it's just that feeling like, this ain't safe. See? You just did it right there. It felt a little bit like that. So, like I said, a lot of times, if I can open it one-handed, fine. I'm not really worried about super speed. If I want speed, I would carry, switchblade. But what changed? What evolved? What caused that to change? Well, this YouTube knife videos, watching knife videos, because people get a little bit more in depth. They start talking about how if they're using them and stuff, what they like and don't like about them. And here's one, Gerber. This one was supposed to be like a switchblade or whatever, assisted opening, but it broke. It's limp. There's no spring to that action, so I was going to take it apart one day and look at it. But after things like this is when I started evolving a little bit, and like I said, I first started getting into gonzos and flippers and everything else, reliable, decent flippers, not necessarily assisted opening anymore, and not necessarily as gaudy as this, but this one turned out to be pretty good. It's rounded contours and everything. One position pocket clip worked fine for me, and I knew if I lost it, like I would get gunk on it, paint, oil, fiberglass and stuff in there. Yeah, all kinds of stuff. And I didn't care about the steel back then. Stainless was good enough for me. Obviously, I didn't care about the cost, other than I needed something that was long enough to get the job done. And it worked. It worked for me. I guess this could be kind of like a shackle thing. You had a small enough shackle in there. You kind of. But with that spring assist, it wants to go open once you get halfway, and it resists you when you go to close. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to show you that what evolved, what changed was starting to watch YouTube. Then I started, my first ones I was watching were Nick Shabazz back then, and a lot of different YouTube channels, and I started getting away from these kind of knives and going more to, like Spydercos and and Gonzos and stuff like that, and started buying more knives, a lot more knives. It used to be if I bought like 1 or 2 knives a year, usually these things would last me long enough, do everything I needed to do at work, and I'd be fine with that. But yeah, watching watching YouTube videos a lot of times is like an advertisement for, it's like an infomercial sometimes for the knife. And now, these aren't always found in gas stations, but these knives right here are a lot better, I think. You know, VG10, they're a better option than one of these. But if I was still going to work and everything, I wouldn't be carrying one of these. Now, I still carried my Delica with me. I usually always have my Delica in my back pocket, and sometimes I would carry the Enduro. I also carried, what was that? The Cutjack. I carried the Cutjack up there a lot. But yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say on this is that what changed me into what I consider to be better quality knives and stuff was a lot of it was influenced by YouTube videos, by watching different. I wouldn't be just like one person. Like if I was interested in something, I would, you know, search on YouTube or whatever. I would do, you know, like if I was interested in an Endura or something, I would say Spyderco Endura, and whatever it came up with for reviews, I'd watch those, and you know, you get your. Here's another kind of like gas station knife. Jaguar. And this one has a hidden, see that? That's kind of cool. A hidden release. That keeps your finger out of the way. It's almost, you know, you don't have to get your finger in the path up here. And it does the same thing as a liner lock. Pretty cool. I haven't seen that on any other knives like that. This is kind of like a rubber texture. Not a bad knife, you know. You got the Tanto effect going on there. You got a regular cutting edge, and then you got serrated. Serrated comes in really handy for cable bands. Let me go get one. This stuff, cable strap tie. Used to be this was metal, and you had a wire cutter, you know, and you go get it. Now, wire cutters still work best for this, you know, like side-end cutters, because it's efficient and does everything else. But if you try to cut this with a regular non-serrated blade, you're going to have to do a lot of sawing, even if you've got a really sharp blade. Because, like I said, this stuff is tough. And our pallets would come, to here I did a couple of little cuts on. Our pallets would come with these strapped, with two of these around the fiberglass. And you'd have to cut it, you know, to get to it. Well, the normal knife we had, those fiberglass cutting the hide knife and stuff, those things weren't good for cutting those ties. I mean, you could do it, but again, it was a lot of sawing. You'd have to sharpen it halfway through. It's a pain in the butt. And that's why I said something like this, it was partially serrated. You go like that, you could still do your sawing, but it cuts a lot faster. And I never had to sharpen these, and they're still sharp. But yeah, that's all I'm saying right there is YouTube. I blame it on YouTube. I blame it on YouTube videos and my weak willpower to resist buying stuff, you know, because I've always liked knives. And then once you start finding, all right, you could spend this much money on that, or you could save up and get a little bit better one. Or really nowadays, man, with the like CJRB and Sencut and a lot of these other ones where Civivi and Artisan and a lot of these other companies were already a good value on their knives, but then they started coming out with a budget one, and they are much better than gas station knives most of the time. I mean, you know, bang for your buck, what you can get is much better. Back in our days, it would be like some inexpensive novelty Barlow, which is still, I think, a lot of times a better option than some of these, but it's all visual a lot of times. You know, you're looking for features. All right, I'm in a vehicle. I want a seatbelt cutter. I want to be able to cut and smash my way out if I have to. And, you know, I need assisted opening for that thing to fly out fast. Yeah, and you're thinking of balls. And also, I don't drive anymore, so, you know, I rarely drive. So I don't need seatbelt cutters or glass breakers. And those are a pain in the butt if you ever hold it like, you know, a knife like this. You'll get poked. Yeah, so yeah, my thinking evolved a little bit and changed. But as far as like steels and stuff and everything, I've never been super critical about those. Although I do have lower limits, you know, like 420 if it's not treated right. Like Buck does a good heat treatment on them, but I mean, anything below that, some of the Chinese blade steels, you know, if they start getting below 5 CR, those depend on what they're being used for and stuff. But still, for me, like I said, back in the day, most of the time they would just tell you it's stainless or not. I mean, you rarely would even mention the steel on it. But there you go. Just a little talk about my evolution in the knife world. And I haven't picked a knife for October yet, but I will. I'm lining that one up. And yeah, that's I guess tourist knives too, you know, like this is my Oaxaca, Mexico type of tourist knife, a little Bowie here. Yeah, so that's all I got to say on that one. Thank you for watching, and watch out for YouTube videos getting you to buy knives, because it will happen. It happened to me. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.